In this 2016 DD Europe Talk, IO Interactive's Hans Seifert shares the highs and lows of transforming Hitman into an episodic release title. Seifert will share the risks and challenges pushing their art form forward, the required change of mind, the tremendous excitement and involvement of players, as well as the conservatism of self-proclaimed keepers of the status quo. It was an insightful talk that's definitely still worth watching, so developers should not miss the opportunity to do so now that it's freely available on the official GD YouTube channel. In addition to this presentation, THEGDC Vault and its accompanying YouTube channel offers numerous other free videos, audio recordings, and slides from many of the recent game developers conference events, and the service offers even more members-only content for DD Vault subscribers. Those who purchased all access passes to recent events, like DD Vault, already have full access to DD Vault, and interested parties can apply for the individual subscription via the DD Vault subscription page. Group subscriptions are also available. Game-related schools and development studios who sign up for DD Vault Studio subscriptions can receive access for their entire office accompanied by contacting staff via THEGDC Vault Group subscription page. Finally, current subscribers with access issues can contact DD Vault technical support. Gamasutra and DD are sibling organizations under parent company Informa. Equinox is a soothing game of shaping nature, having players create their own ecosystems of plants and animals living in harmony. Through the flora and fauna that you place throughout the world, you will feed into the needs of your living beings, creating a healthy world. Carl Wimble, developer of Equinox, put a deep love for the nurturing, calming power of nature into this sandbox title, using his own happy experiences with plants to create a slower, more relaxed game. Not only would it be relaxing to play, but in some ways, its nature also made it more relaxing to develop, creating with for even the developer to unwind while creating it. Intrigued to learn more about Wimble's naturalistic approach to game development, we caught up with Theman himself. A quick chat about what happens when game dev and Mother Nature cross paths. I have always been very interested in nature, and love being outside in general. When I was young, my mom used to teach me all about the different birds and plants in our garden, and I really enjoyed growing things of my own, especially vegetables. I still do that to this day, in pots, on the balcony, anywhere that I can find space for it. So, back in 2015, when I was deciding what project to do next, I wanted to make something nature-related to allow me to tie together two of my passions, nature and game development. When I was deciding what type of game I wanted to make, I first considered making something similar to a farming simulator, as I have always enjoyed growing vegetables myself. However, there were already a lot of farming games in existence, so I decided to go for something similar, but with a bit less structure, something a bit more organic. That's where the idea of creating and balancing ecosystems came from. At the start, I had plans for a very sandbox-y simulation game, but as the project progressed, my ideas for the game altered slightly, and I started incorporating more aspects of city builder-style games. Concepts such as paying currency to buy new objects for the world, earning currency back from certain objects, unlocking newer and more interesting objects as you progress, and managing your world to ensure nothing gets out of balance. For me, personally, I have always found something inherently satisfying about nurturing something, putting effort into growing it, and watching it thrive and grow over time. It's like a very physical representation of progress. You put in the time and effort to look after something and you get to see the results very clearly as the plant grows. It's even more satisfying when the plant produces fruit or vegetables, so that you can literally harvest the fruits of your labor. So, I imagine that it's a similar feeling with the wildlife in equinox. You have to make some choices and put in some effort to make the habitats suitable for living in, and you then get your work pay off as the plants and animals flourish. Plus, in equinox, this happens a lot faster than in real life, so the satisfaction comes a lot quicker. Combine that with completing tasks and continuously unlocking mood species with different behaviors as you progress, and you get a rather satisfying experience. The main variety in the game comes from the fairly large number of species and the various different biomes. Over the years that I have been working on equinox, I have continuously been adding in new species to the game, and try to give many of the plants and animals their own unique behaviors and effects. Even the plant species mostly have their own different purposes in the ecosystem, such as providing food, improving the biome quality, healing sick animals, calming the bees, producing fruit, providing a place for birds to nest, etc. There were actually many more animals in equinox at one point during development, but I decided to cut back a bit to ensure that each animal really added some value and something unique to the game, instead of just being another generic bouncing animal with a slightly different model. There's every chance that I will add more of this species back into the game in the future, once I have spent the time to give them interesting behaviors and characteristics. To start with, I was somewhat limited by my artistic skills. As a programmer, I do not have much experience with 3D modeling, so the first few animals I added were ones that I thought would be simple to make. The sheep was the first animal in equinox, because I could make it using just a white blob with a few bits attached. As the project went on, I did manage to improve my low-poly modeling skills a bit and was able to add some more interesting animals. I often chose animals based on the behaviors that I thought would be interesting to add to the game, such as the beavers that cut down trees and make dams, or bees which build hives and produce honey. As for choosing plants, it was usually either because I thought the game was lacking something, or because I did see a nice tree outside that I wanted to recreate. I found modeling nature to be quite relaxing, and I would often create a new plant model for fun, just to relax a bit after hours of complex programming. It was not really an intention of mine to make the game particularly educational, but if equinox helps to get people more interested in nature and ecosystems, then all the better. A lot of the choices I made in terms of species are based on reality, although sometimes I had to make choices for gameplay reasons. For example, in equinox, the bees build their beehive directly on the floor, instead of in trees. This is because I wanted the beehives to take a while to be created, and most of the trees have a relatively short life length, so it would have been hard to even start producing honey before the tree died and fell down. There are various other things like this in the game, where I had to favor gameplay over reality. As I have already mentioned, I got quite a bit of inspiration from city builder games. I saw how they made a game out of building and managing cities, and I, to some extent, try to apply the same concepts to creating and balancing ecosystems. The main gameplay points that I thought people would enjoy were the world creation aspect, the balancing managing aspect, the feeling of progression, and the simulation of nature. So, I concentrated a lot on these 4 things, making sure there was enough freedom and variety to allow players to be creative in making their own worlds, ensuring that there were various things to balance and manage to keep the game interesting, allowing players to progress by unlocking new species through the evolution system, and making sure that there were plenty of interesting behaviors and interactions that would make the simulation feel dynamic and engaging. I have always wanted Equinox to be a calm and relaxing experience out of the way to de-stress at the end of a busy day. It's not a fast-paced game and it's not full of action. It's a simple game where you can immerse yourself in low-poly nature, enjoy the dynamic evolving world, and slowly expand your areas and shape the ecosystems to your liking. I hope that the cute art style, quirky animations, and the peaceful sound effects and soundtrack help to make it an enjoyable and completely stress-free experience. I think the style of game lends itself well to being a more relaxing experience. It would be quite a challenge to create a relaxing action game, a first-person shooter, but it's rather easier when it's a sandbox simulation management game like Equinox. The fact that the theme is nature also helps, as I am sure many people would associate nature with relaxation. As I said,